Hey y'all, hi. So I decided that I wanted to do another video reviewing Surratt makeup. I'm enduringly interested in Surratt. My conclusion from the first video that I did reviewing Surratt makeup was that they're always making slightly unconventional choices about formula and packaging. And sometimes it's like a really great swing and a little bit of a miss. And sometimes it really hits and then it's totally amazing. And that's just intriguing, like whether or not the products are fulfilling the destinies they're trying to fulfill. That's just intriguing as a reviewer. So I've had Surratt on my mind. Also, I get the sense that a lot of people, it's kind of a pricey brand, but I get the sense that a lot of people have like one Surratt product that is their ride or die, and they just always go back to that one from Surratt. That's kind of like the feeling that I get from the comments. So I've been thinking about Surratt. I have a great relationship with the brand. I have a discount code with them, and I just sent them a message and I was like, hey, would you send some more products for me to make a video about? And they instantly were like, yes, no problem, which is so kind. So this video isn't sponsored or anything, but Surratt sent the products which I picked. I picked which ones I wanted to look at and they sent them, and I'm just going to open them and find out what's what. If this happens to be your first time to my channel, then thanks for clicking on this one. My name is Hannah. This started as a beauty channel, so this is like standard fare, old school, just reviewing makeup, but I also make videos about fashion and aesthetics at large, and if you like it, I hope you'll subscribe, and whether or not you like it, I hope that you will make sure that you're registered to vote this year. And now, let us get into the meat of the video. So I have some makeup on. The base products I reviewed in the last video, which I'll link below, so I'm not including them in this. I did keep the Dewdrops foundation. I really like it. I think that the concealers are a little bit too dark for me, but I like that foundation. However, there's enough as it is for me to talk about without me revisiting products from the first video. So I just put on a basic base, but pretty much everything else is going to be I want to start with this, but I don't know how much longer I can go in my life without putting something in my brows. So I'll prolong the suspense with the eyeshadow products. And let's look at brows. So we have the brow pomade. This is reminding me too how beautiful the packaging is. I am so into the aesthetic of this brand, and I'm susceptible to that kind of thing, and that might be part of why they kind of stay on my mind. Joe improved the lighting for the close-ups when we set up for this type of shot after we did some overhead filming, and I feel like it's significantly improved. This is the brow pomade in deep brown and clear, which is a really interesting product, and the brow pencil. That is just so luxe looking and feeling. And it's kind of heavy. It feels like it's metal. Okay, there's a little brush on one end, a little spoolie. Oh, and on the other, it has to be put together. So I wasn't sure if this was so I stuck the one part into the other part, and now it's just a regular little pencil, just as one would expect. But very luxe feeling, and it's kind of like the matte part is a little grippy, and then the shiny part is smooth. I was wearing false nails, and I just like picked them all off this morning. So that's why we have this unfortunate nail situation. I'm sure you will forgive me. Maybe I'm being optimistic, but I'm sure you will forgive me. Okay, so I'm actually going to start with pencil today. This is the shade Brunette. I'm going to define the front a little bit and draw a little line underneath, just a little bit. It's a bit of a warm brown, I can already see. And it feels soft in the way that charcoal is soft, like actual charcoal pencil. Just a very light touch. Once you get it going, a very light touch transfers it easily, but then it doesn't have the smudgeability of charcoal, which is notoriously a kind of art supply that doesn't have, like the line doesn't have integrity. If you rub back over it, it'll smudge away. This isn't doing that. Like I rubbed over it on my hand and the little lines are all still there. But it's kind of hard for me to get hair-like strokes on my face. When I try to make a mark on my brows, it really is making more of a broad line. And it's not bad. I mean, it's a nice substance. Like the formula is nice. It has a lot of integrity as makeup. You know, it's really, really sticking, but it's harder to get a subtler look. It's kind of going from 0 to 60 pretty quickly. And if I remember correctly, that's what the brow pencil does too. So if you saw my original Surratt video, you'll remember that I had this product and it had completely disappeared. I looked high and low. I spent like a day looking for it before I filmed that video and I couldn't find it and I never found it again. I think it had accidentally gotten thrown away. So I'm really glad that I have it to show to you. the quintessential example of sort of an unusual packaging choice, like a strange packaging choice for Surratt. And I remember this being wildly buildable, like just adding brow hairs upon brow hairs upon brow hairs. So I'm going to try it again and see. I've been using the clear one, which I actually really like. It does build a lot of volume and makes my brow hairs pretty waxy and easy to manipulate, and I really like that. But I suspect that the one with pigment in it is more volumizing, like just does a little bit more of something. I'm going to see if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, I'm remembering correctly. It is wild. It's wild. What it does is it grabs every single little hair. So even the little hairs that are basically peach fuzz on my face that are just brows adjacent, and the soft bristles of this are happening to touch them, they are getting absolutely coated with this, it feels like fibrous, dark substance that dries down to something quite stiff, but in like a very three-dimensional way, like 5-dimensional way. My brows are like entering the 10th dimension, and then it's all building on itself. It's making me feel like I have really lusciously wild, dark, sensual, natural brows, like Amanda's brows, like Amanda Z. It's like giving me Amanda Z brows. And it's really making me wish that I hadn't put the pencil there, because the pencil looks really makeup-y, and my brows now look very natural and like intense, wild and intense, but in a really natural way. The combination of both is giving me a very intense brow, and you can really see that this is actually a quite nice dark cool toned brown, and the pencil you can really see how warm it is, unfortunately. And I like this way better as a brow product. So the pencil, it's fine. It's especially luxe, like the packaging is especially luxe of the pencil, but I don't like the warm toned color, and I wish that it would give me a slightly finer line. So I would give this, it's not terrible makeup, it's gorge, you know, it's gorgeous, but I'd give it kind of a B. You know, like if you have an eyebrow pencil that you really love, it doesn't compete with the Kimiko one, for example. Kimiko Black Tea is better for shade for me and for the very fine hair strokes for me. However, this is extraordinary. It is like an extraordinary product. I give it an A+. You know, you might not want something to do what this is doing. And it's also the kind of thing that makes me want to just sit there. Like, this isn't for the 5-minute face queens among us. This is like for me to sit here for 20 minutes and see how much of a bramble patch I can make my one brow into. So I feel like I need to wipe away some of the pencil. Maybe I'll just try with the spoolie to get it to soften. The spoolie is really hard, but it totally worked to soften that line. Oh yeah, and it's totally working, the spoolie, the stiff spoolie, to sort of reorganize the bramble patch and make it take the exact wild, but it's like a raucous but tamed situation. Luscious but slightly groomed, making it take the exact shape that I wanted. Okay, this is the Surratt brow is an absolute banger. That's how I feel. And by the Surratt brow, I mean like the eyebrow that one ends up with when one chooses to go the Surratt route. I'm going to get the other poor sad brow number 2 up to speed. Okay, I have been here for so long just messing with my brows. I feel like we need to insert some time-lapse photography, like the sun setting and rising and setting and rising again. Like 2 days later, I'm back, and here are my conclusions. I think there is a chance. I've put a lot of product on because I'm testing. I'm really trying to get a feel for what it does. So when I do this, when I test products, when I apply them on camera, when I do first impressions, I'm often putting a lot on. I'm really getting into like wading into the formula. So I think there is a chance with this that if you just put on a little like straight into your brows, like just a little beep, 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 and then you went, it would be fine. Like you wouldn't need to take 20 minutes. I feel like a potential drawback of this is that it is not really for the faint of heart, and it does take some tinkering, right? For me, I being who I am, it calls for me to keep layering it in and to keep messing with it. So I think the formula is probably versatile enough that it doesn't necessarily require that, but it does kind of lead one down the garden path, so to speak. That is the bit of caution that I will give you. However, in exchange, it truly does seem to be creating brow hairs out of thin air, like pulling hairs from where hairs were not previously. It's amazing. I feel like I'm going to want to use it every day. And I don't know, it's been a while since I got into a product that gave me these fluffy, intense, kind of youthful brows. I feel like this is kind of a youthful brow. And, you know, I love a little novelty. I love a little change. So it's kind of fun to have something in my makeup makeup bag once again that does this kind of thing. Even like in the front of my brows where I usually fill in with pencil, it has just created hair, which I think it's just coating really, really fine hairs that never show up no matter what I use. It's coating them and turning them into substantial beings on this earth. I think that that's what it's doing. I really live for it. I've also totally lost perspective at this point about fullness and symmetry on my brows. I just need to move on. Okay, forgive me if there's something weird about it, but I'm really into it. Let us now play with the eye makeup with which I've been waiting to play. This is what I have. Look at this. First of all, the box. Second of all, the packaging, the component. Third of all, the way it looks in there. The way it looks in there. And you had better believe I resisted the urge to touch it. But I needn't have resisted the urge because it's look at that. It feels like a jelly. It's not what I was expecting. It's the Souffle eyeshadow in a beautiful color. For best results, to prevent the formula from drying out, store it with lid tightly closed. What are you? So it's really like a jelly. It's really resisting. Ooh, oh my gosh. It's resisting my attempts to like crack it and dig into it. It's just melting a little bit onto my finger, but look at that. Wow. Wow. So this must be going to dry down and set. And I really feel like I need a brush for it. I'm going to use this Refer brush, the 15. I'm going to put it on with my finger, but then I feel like I need to blend it out quite quickly. I worry that it's going to really dry. That didn't go super well. It's kind of pilling. No, look at this. You see that? It's giving me trouble. I'm going to try just with my finger on the other lid. It seemed to be responding to that. Okay, current verdict. This is a very fast drying jelly eyeshadow, just in the style of like the ColourPop Jelly Much shadow with a really beautiful finish that creates what I would call a demure grunge eye. I feel like it's like effortless demure grunge, which curiously is also the look that I get from the other Surratt, the Smoky Eye Baton, which is a product that I love. And I love it because it's always effortless demure grunge. It looks effortless and it also doesn't cost that much effort. It like actually is effortless. The thing about this is that it's super fast drying. So if you continue to work at it very much longer than like the first 30 seconds, especially with a brush, which was a mistake. I think that going in with a brush was a mistake. It will start to pick up in itself. Like the wet shadow will cause the drying shadow to pill. One option is to work really fast so that doesn't happen. The other is to let the first layer dry completely, because once I had let that layer dry completely on this eye, even though it had already pilled, it all set down and then I was able to go back in with another layer and it went over flawlessly and it like repaired that patchiness and it was no problem. So it's not the easiest to use because it can pill, but it also, to me, it's not like a total barrier to entry. And demure grunge, I historically have been really into the grungy eye, like a super intensely grungy eye. And I do feel like I still have the love of that in me, like it's still part of me, but it makes sense given the changes in my lifestyle and changes in my aesthetic and the changes in the aesthetic of makeup wearers at large in general over these past 3 or 4 years. It makes sense that it would have become kind of a demure grunge. So I'm really here for this. I kind of want to put it, I'm going to leave it though. I was thinking of putting it on my lower lash line. Here's what I'm actually going to do. I'm going to leave it from my lower lash line. I'm going to try this other product. Yeah, it is completely dried on the back of my hand. Beautiful and bulletproof. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to try this Inner Light Baton. I feel like this look is about to get real 90s real fast, but let's just see. Shimmery Pearlescent Shadow, which I'm going to put on the inner corner and partway on the lid just to add some light. And I'm going to use the white eyeliner. Some of you, for some reason, I'm getting a lot of comments that I should try white eyeliner to brighten up the eyes. Am I looking tired? If I am, it's because I am tired. And then we'll just see how all of that looks. It's too much. The whole white lower lash line thing, it's too much. But the inner corner part of it's amazing. And this creamy white is incredible, not just for doing anything you might want to do lining wise, but for an inner corner, for really brightening up an inner corner. It's amazing. But I can't continue to have it all over my lower lash line like that. I'm going to soften that just a little. So it kind of resisted some light softening. Just that white creamy eyeliner is really intense, really, really well performing, but I underestimated with it, and so I have a lot of it on my lower lash line. I think adding mascara to my lower lash line is going to help balance out the look. But yeah, overall, we've ended up with kind of a more intense eye look than I usually wear these days. But I do think, especially the part that's on my lid, is something that I would wear to an event or even like to a concert or something these days, because it has that effortless quality. And it is an example of Surratt having sort of an unusual formula, an unusual take on something, but having it come through as a really effective makeup for a certain specific and very artistic point of view, like aesthetic point of view. The Inner Light Eye Baton, I think I've used it kind of for the wrong thing. I think it would be really amazing for just brightening up the inner corner and the lids a little bit on a day when you're not wearing all that much other makeup. I actually bet it's also amazing, the powder part on the brow bone. It's a little icy though. It's also kind of old school. I have immediate regrets. Yeah, because it's such a white pearl rather than being sort of a champagne pearl. I don't know, y'all. It's not really me. The Inner Light Baton took us too far. But let's see what a little mascara can do. Actually, you know what I'm going to do first? I'm going to take some more Souffle, jelly Souffle, and put it on my lower lash line just to soften the slightly wild situation that's down there right now. I'm using a little brush to do it. It's the Refer 23. It's not really helping. And the jelly eyeshadow is kind of starting to flake a little bit on my lids. Jelly eyeshadow, it's just not my favorite. If you do love this type of thing and you want a really beautiful high-end one, this is going to be amazing. So far for me though, the brow gel is absolutely the standout product of the video. I was so excited about the eyes, but I've struggled a little. Let's try this mascara and see what it does. So this isn't that weird Surratt mascara that's like it's like the end of a screw that I actually kind of love, that sort of lash paint. That's what I reviewed last time. This is one of their other more run-of-the-mill mascaras, the Relevee mascara. I believe it's lifting. Oh, it looks elegant though. This is pretty. It's making my lashes really kind of inky and long and pointy. It's sort of hard to explain, but without them sticking together too much. It's like very artistic, very vintage makeup vibes. It's like the late 80s, early 90s, and I'm trying out for like a dance company. Like I'm trying out to be the member of a dance company. It's like a chorus line. I feel like it's makeup for a chorus line. I don't know. The more I apply it, the more I'm getting that lengthening, but kind of without volume. It's not really growing on me. No, it kind of is. It kind of is. Kind of a disaster, y'all. Okay, here's what's going on. I am failing to be neutral because the more I wear it, the less I like the eye look. I think the white eyeliner experiment really kind of took me beyond the pale, and I just think that it looks like really like a mess that I made for fun to try to see what it would be like, which is what it is, you know, but it's just hard for me to really get back to myself, feeling like myself, looking like I'm creating a look that makes sense for the makeup. So I think I might take off a little bit of the eye makeup and then try again with the mascara. So that's making me struggle to really understand whether the mascara is working or not. But also I was going so thickly into my roots with the brush that I got a bunch of mascara on my waterline underneath where my lashes attach. And then it started to dry and it started to harden and I started to feel it kind of scratching at my eyes, which has happened to me before with mascara that dries really firm. And so I had to go in and like mess with it and take it off of my waterline, and it sort of made a mess all over. Okay, I pretty much wiped it all off. And here's what I want to do. I want a little bit of the shimmer from the eye baton on my lids. Okay, that's very beautiful. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna apply a couple coats of the mascara and then report back. Okay, I applied the mascara delicately in a very natural way, and I like it. It doesn't immediately strike me as any one thing or another, right? I think I might need to keep using it. I think it might kind of settle over the first week or so. Right now, it's a little bit hard to tell. But let's move on to the cheek products. The Artistique liquid highlighter and the Torche Lumiere, which basically do the same thing. So it's going to be an intense situation. So the liquid blush that looked just like this last time was one of my favorite blushes for kind of a long time. It's so beautiful. Then Surratt came out with the highlighter version. Let's not use that footage. I already feel like I'm gonna love it. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's in the shade Lamé. Wow, it's like a true wet look shine. The color is so pretty. It's that soft, just quite neutral, slightly champagne, wet look sheer. This is what I want on my eyes, you know? No more is coming out. Oh, I was turning it the wrong way. No, I wasn't. It was just taking a while for it to get queued up. But I don't need more. I've put it all over and I just want to keep applying it. Wow. I love it. And I have a feeling because it's liquid and it dries down and it dries down to be really sturdy, this is going to be really useful for me. And it's going to be hard for me to put it down. I can't wait. This is going to go straight into my makeup bag. I really, really love that. The thing is, the other one that I have is a product that I've already tried that was probably my most used product from the first Surratt video, the Torche Lumiere, which I had in Rose Diamante, which is really beautiful, but it was a bit pink. And this is very similar, but just more neutral. It's more of like a ballet pink. And I mean, what could be more lovely than this? Oh, well, it's shinier, right? It's shinier. So that's good to know that the Artistique liquid highlighter is a little bit more of that sheer skin-like glass skin wet shine. And then the Torche Lumiere is a little bit more like of a sparkling shine. You know, it's just going to add more. And it doesn't make zero sense to layer them. Like it does make some kind of sense because what I did was I put the really skin-like glass skin shine one, the really liquid one, all over. And it's natural enough that it can kind of get outside the lines, sort of be like a watercolor wash of sheen on the face. But then this one I used targeted, like right at the top of the cheekbones, right on the bridge of the nose, like really pretty right there, and the Cupid's bow. Yeah, this will also be amazing on the eyes, probably more on the center of the lids. Oh my gosh. I am going to be using these every day. I just can tell that the glow you're about to see in every video for months on end is going to be courtesy of Surratt. I thought they sent a lip product, but I don't see it in the box. I might have left it in my office. Hold on. I couldn't find it, and maybe there never was one, but I do have the Surratt Lipslique in the shade Hevyn from the last video. That's just still in my makeup collection. So here it is. It's a really pretty, easy to wear color and very easy to wear formula. A little more on the lipstick side than most of the lips that I've been wearing lately. I've been wearing a lot of nourishing lip gloss, tinted lip balm, etc. So I didn't end up wearing this as much as I thought that I would. I remember being really excited about this formula in the other video, and it makes sense, especially now putting it on again. It's just really nice, really well balanced, and maybe less intensely lipsticky than I sort of conceive of it as being. That's like the thing that keeps me from reaching for it. But it's beautiful. However, the clear runaway standouts from this video are the highlighting cheek products. I mean, oh my gosh, it's like I designed them in my dreams. Like I really, really love the colors, the formulas, the delivery mechanisms of both of those highlighting products. Like I just am so excited. And the brow, that crazy brow pomade. And then the eyeshadows, I mean, I think that they'll be the correct products for some people. And if you're out there and it's just the right thing for you, you'll be able to tell from the way that I struggled and ended up not loving it for me. But those aren't going to become my favorites. And the mascara, it didn't immediately grab me either. The other eyeshadow from Surratt, the Smoky Eye Baton, I actually have one right here. It's just like the light Baton, but it's got like a dark liner on one side, so creamy, and then a really pretty smudgy eyeshadow smudger on the other side. This is fantastic. It's one of the best things I've ever tried from Surratt. So this is a real hit in the eyeshadow department, but for me, the Souffle thing was a real miss. But I am not mad because I ended up exceedingly glossy and with these big bushy eyebrows. Honestly, it's the best I've felt in hours. So really, really fun. Thank you, Surratt, for sending these products for me to test. And you know, in the intro, when I was like, I'm intrigued by this brand because they take packaging and formula risks, and sometimes they swing and miss, and sometimes they swing and hit it out of the park. Could the video have possibly fulfilled that definition more? No, it could not have. It's literally exactly what happened. The misses were misses for me because there are these gloriously wild swings in terms of formula, and the hits are out of the park, you know? So as ever, a pleasure to test some products from this brand. And I hope that you enjoyed it too, even if you're just here to hang out and be together and kick back and have a little reprieve from the total intensity of the world right now. I'm right there with you. And this is what that is for me too. So it's nice to be together. Thank you for being here. And don't forget to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.